Welcome, Baltimore, to another episode of Sanity Lounge. Today we're joined by Whiskey Feathers, a band that's been turning heads with their unique mix of Americana, folk, and indie rock. Their sound is all about great storytelling, infectious melodies, and that perfect balance of raw energy and emotion. We'll be talking about how the band came together, their creative process, and what's next on the horizon for them. Whether you're already a fan or you're just hearing about them for the first time, it's going to be a great conversation. Get ready to experience Whiskey Feathers bringing their electrifying sound to Live at the Lounge, a performance packed with raw energy, soulful vibes, and unforgettable tunes that will leave you wanting more. Don't miss this epic jam session. Sure. Welcome, Baltimore. We are back with another wonderful episode of Sanity Lounge with our very special guests, Whiskey Feathers. We have John and Britton in the studio for a little conversation.
That's right.
Thanks for having us.
Baltimore's own Whiskey Feathers.
Thanks,
man.
guys.
Yeah, I mean, I just met you cats tonight. Incredible performance.
Thanks.
And my initial question out of the gate is the revival type vibe that is there. Is that, where's that bore from? Is that you, or is that intentional? Is it from history of you? Or
I think it's just a combination of kind of everything we've listened to and what we like and where we're at. There's, I wouldn't say there's much intention in that at all. And really in the band, you know, I don't tell anybody to really do anything, right? Like we're the sum of our parts. Everyone's very talented, and it's just let it shine, really. And we all share a similar aesthetic, and we get along very well in general. But musically too, there's not much discrepancy or.
it seems very like spiritual and revivalist.
Yeah, right on.
Like it's good
Thank
shit,
you.
man. It's
Appreciate that.
It's all organic. It's nothing. It's nothing forced. I think it it shows, it comes through.
So how long have you guys been playing together?
A couple years.
Have you guys all, or I guess, how long have you all known each other?
I met Britton because of the pandemic. When I was playing at a church where Britton was the caretaker at the time.
Yeah.
And so there's the flock was away for COVID, so the church needed some way to make money.
Yeah.
So they opened it up as a practice space for musicians. So that was pretty cool of them.
Yeah, he was playing in Western Run. Shout out to Western Run.
Yes, indeed.
And I was the caretaker of a church for 8+ years, and we cleaned the church and we took care of the grounds and mowed the grass and weeded. There's 2 cemeteries, and we lived in the caretaker house.
Is this
as
in
a barter.
Baltimore?
Yeah, it's in Baltimore County.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a Basel United Methodist Church. And our neighbor, couple doors down, he's like, "Would you be interested in this?" We live in Timonium, and it's like, "Yeah." I kind of knew where the spot was, and I'd never heard of the arrangement like that, and I've never heard of it since. But my wife and I lived there, 8 years. It was a lot of work. It was probably 20+ hours a week in the summer at least, to cut all the grass and do everything and clean it and take care of it. But yeah, it was a barter, and we lived in a 1850s log cabin originally, and it got expanded upon over the years. But the sound was incredible. It was, the church was built in 1877, and but the sound was great, and yeah, I met John there because they were coming into practice, and at the time it was just Jenny and I were duo, and.
Were you still called Whiskey Feathers when you were duo?
We were, yeah. And our first gig, we needed a name like real fast. And my Jenny has, would sit. She had a keyboard like bench, like a piano bench, and her cat had like just ripped it to shreds. It was like foam. And my wife had kind of made her a slip cover, and the pattern of the slip cover, it was these like. There were feathers on it, and it was like we needed a name, and Jenny's like, "What about wispy feathers, like wispy?" And I was a heavy drinker at the time, and I was like, whiskey feathers, and she was like, no, but that works, and that's the origin of the name. It's not any cooler than that. It's evolved and changed over the years. I like the name.
Yeah,
but and it was like we needed a name quick, and that was it, and it's stuck. It's evolved now, like. Sober 3 years.
Good for you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. And that was September 12th. It's been 3 years, but most of us have all kind of gone through those struggles of life, and
we surely have. Let me ask you this: are you both spiritual gentlemen from the get-go, or like you guys both met at a church? Is the rest of the band? Did they come from the church era or the?
No. Like, I wouldn't even say I'm like a really religious person.
No. Yeah, and again, spiritual. No judgment here. I'm just asking.
No,
spiritual vibe. Yeah, don't even have to. Yeah, like.
It was very spiritual. Very.
It shows in the music for me.
Yeah. We're feeling it up there.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But not necessarily tied to religion, but definitely feel one with the universe and the cosmos and our place in it and our time and our space. So,
and it is telling that you guys you have a revival vibe, in a certain sense. It's awesome that your history is you met at a church. It makes perfect sense.
And I met Jenny like an open mic in it was 2012-ish maybe. Wow. And Zorn was our buddy John Zorn, shout out to Z, who plays in Western Run, was running the open mic. And I remember my wife was on work travel, and I went to this open mic. I'm like, I got nothing to do. I'm new in town. I moved to Baltimore in November 2010.
From where?
North Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, in Waleska, Georgia. Interesting. And my wife, her family was from there. They grew up in like Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'm from I was born in South Carolina. My parents are actually from Western Maryland. I went to school and grew up in Florida.
Where in Florida?
I grew up in like Palm Beach County.
Oh, I got you.
And then went to college in Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Daytona Beach. Moved from Daytona up to Georgia. The economy. I graduated in 2008. It was like just terrible to find a job.
Right.
And
that was a rough year
for everybody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so we moved up to her parents in 2008, and we lived there about a year, and then I got a job in Hunt Valley, and kind of came home in a way. Like I as a kid, my first baseball game was an O's game, and
nice.
I was like, I came up flying into Baltimore and then driving out west to like Cumberland and stuff to see family.
Yep.
And my parents are long since gone from Western Maryland, and it was kind of a weird homecoming thing to come back here, and I always love coming to visit.
Yep.
But it felt right.
It felt right, yeah. And I met Jenny early on, and then EJ and Luke, they were playing in a band called Rusty Sow, and still playing in a band called Rusty Sow with Letitia Van Zant. Shout out to all them. And we were all kind of courting each other, but nobody knew that was happening, right? It was pretty organic, which was fun and serendipitous. But I played with EJ at the filling station, and it was like an artist opening. And our friend Dinah was like, "Is it cool if the guy he helps run the music around here, he's a drummer, if you guys want to jam together?" I'm like, "I'm always open to that." And I met him, and we like crushed. We like brought it down,
Yeah, he's a great player.
That's great.
He's awesome.
He's a great player.
And people were like, Dinah's running around going, "They've never met before. And they're like, "How's that even possible?"
Right.
And I was like, "It's music, baby. It's
right.
like it's 1 + 1. We don't have to speak the same language. Like the music is the language, and it's tempo, it's feel." And,
we talked about that a little with Madison Bailey, how all the musicians all around some of them don't really know each other, and then they discover themselves at gigs, and they're like, "You should meet this person, you should meet this person, you guys need to get on a bill together."
Yeah.
So much
it's
talent
all organic
around.
growth. It's good.
It was
shit.
crazy, and I was talking to Zorn. Again, Zorn comes into play. He had Luke sit in on like mandolin on the track in the studio, and I was like, man, that mandolin sounds great. And I didn't know he played anything other than mandolin. And I was like, can I get his number maybe? He's like, cool, man. And so I'm talking to him. I didn't know what he played really, and I was trying to expand and grow some, and I'd already met EJ. And he's like, man, you should talk to Luke, man. He's pretty cool. I was like, yeah, we'll talk to Luke. And I go, yeah, we got this guy coming to practice. And like, he's in a couple other bands or whatever. And he's in a band called Rusty Sal. And he's just like, I'm in Rusty Sal.
That's like,
and I'm like, he's like, Luke's the guy I'm talking about. And,
that's hilarious.
Great.
And we showed up and we was all like, these are the guys, man.
Right.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been that way ever since. It's like a lot of just serendipity.
Serendipity.
For sure.
That's my shit, baby. That's
Yeah.
I love serendipity.
So what about you? Are you a Baltimore guy, John?
Through and through, I've been here about 20 years, more or less, with courting my wife, who went to Towson University. So,
Nice.
So So
Where from?
my wife's from
You've been here
Towson
20 years.
University.
Where from?
me and my wife were kind of where we were nomadic for a while. We lived in Portland, Oregon, for 2 years,
Ooh.
and then
John's got cool
Bigfoot
stories.
country.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Don't get him started,
Squatch.
please. Don't get him
Oh, we
started.
can talk about squat.
But then we lived in Charlottesville for 5 years. Charlottesville's an awesome music town for sure. And it's and then in DC also, I played in up and down on 18th Street in DC in a band called Rattle Cam Moses 20 years ago.
Great name.
Oh, thank you. The factoid is that Rattle Cam Moses once opened for Chris Jacobs. So
Wow,
it's
nice.
like for the Bridge at the time.
Right,
you know.
right.
So that was like that was full circle. So I've been lurking around Maryland since the turn of the century. And then I was at Big Cypress. I heard the LaPorte show.
Yeah, man.
And I heard about your Big Cypress.
Big Cypress was a time.
Yes,
What an
indeed.
incredible
That was a
time.
good show to be at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know Lepo, you had to ride on somebody's hood down Alligator Alley. But,
That's right,
but I was in my Dodge Neon, my Plymouth Neon at the time, and we ran out of gas. I thought we were going to run out of gas in Alligator Alley like right after the check-in. So we had to have a chain tied up to our axle and got pulled by an RV.
Wow.
Shit.
But then we finally did get gas at the end. But you're right. Once you get in that 6 mile lane,
For God's sakes,
Yeah,
I thought
it
we were
was
right
crazy.
there. I
Yeah.
figured we were right there.
and there's nowhere to run because you got live gators on both
Right.
sides.
Right.
My favorite part of that
Yeah.
story is just the copy. Like, it's 6 miles.
Well, listen.
And it's 4:00. You better get walking.
Well, listen. Grabowski said that when you guys got there earlier in the day, you guys took off without him at one point because the line moved. He
Yes.
got out to like Hacky Sack or
Yes.
something. He said the line moved. Now I think this is in the traffic. maybe still.
in the line. It
Right.
only took us like 2 hours.
And he
to get
said
in.
that the cop said to him, "You can't walk." And he's like, "Yeah, but my truck's right up there." And they're like, "If you take one more step, we're going to arrest you." And so Grabowski had to get on a hood of somebody's car until he got caught back
Until he
up
was
to you guys, or else
away
they were
from-
going to put him in jail for Christ's sake. I thought, gosh,
know, man.
it was a plight getting into that place.
Big time. It was, it's like you really push yourself to the festy limits. Britton and I were just sleeping in hammocks at Ramble Fest, pushing ourselves to the festy limits. You got to get your festy 4 in.
That's so
That's what it's
fun.
like.
Yeah.
The festy 4 is you
4
got
hours.
at least 4 hours of
So I
sleep.
got my
You know.
full 4. You know?
No,
So-
that's awesome. Yeah, let's talk about the Ramble Fest a little
It
bit.
was
So
awesome,
that tell me about that. We didn't get a chance to go to that.
We did the full experience. I got there Friday. We played Saturday, and
And you guys played in a barn, is that
we
right?
played in the coolest
I was going to say, it
barn.
looks
Yeah, the
fucking
Red
awesome.
Barn.
It was so cool, and
And
they
you
set it up.
made a beer after the Red Barn, right?
They
The
did,
Red
yeah.
Barn beer. So it's
They did.
And
I mean,
it's a
your
little collaboration.
vibe, like, it looks right. Like, even, I saw the videos this week. I was like, for fuck's sake, you guys should shoot a video in there or something.
So-
it feels like Whiskey Feathers.
So the music
you know.
starts when?
Music starts at noon.
And then
Yeah.
and you said
Goes
goes till
to
3
3.
a.m.
Goes to 3 a.m. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a hell of a bill.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, I'll go check out a little bit of late night. The late night's in the barn too, and they did it all right. There was like disco balls and like crushed red velvet tapestry kind of drapings and lights, and it was done amazing, and really good vibe. But I'm like, I'll just go check it. Like, we're there Friday.
Right.
Trode came out with me Friday, and I'm like, we got, when we were noon, we started Saturday, and I'm like, I gotta get some sleep, But we go to the show, and I'm like, I can't go to fucking bed. Like, this
right,
is incredible.
this is great.
Right. And so we walking back. It was like, I don't know, we went to bed at 3:30 or 4.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
And it was awesome. And then got up at 8 and you started to like shake the cobwebs and go get ready. But yeah, we were calling it getting your full 4.
Well, I always say it's much easier getting like minimal sleep when you're not liquored up, like when you're not hitting the ass.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, 4 hours sleep sucks, but it doesn't suck like it used to suck.
And
Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the key. Whereas, like, well, for me it does. Right?
I have a weird superpower. I guess.
Will Davis can get 2 hours of sleep after a fifth of Jim Beam and wake up and lift weights. I'm not kidding. Like, he's a lunatic. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So while we're on a different tip with the Ramble Fest, what's your influence musically? Are you a Fish guy?
Yeah, I've seen Fish a bunch of times, and
How many times?
83. Which
I love this guy.
Yeah, yeah. But I know Laporte was in here the other day. He's like, it's the 70s nothing. So
No. Yeah, we don't get into that.
I'll be brief on this because I've already told this story once. But my son's teacher, my son's 13. Like it was last year when he was in 7th grade. His teacher is a Fish fan.
Right.
And
this is great.
he wore, I have a Fish O shirt. I think actually Tyler had it on one of the opening pictures.
Nice.
So he wore, his house color was orange. So he wore it to school that day. Teacher's like, oh man, I love Fish. I'm a Fish fan. He's like, yeah, my dad's seen Fish like 3 times. And
Nice.
like he came home and like just told me this random story. He's like, yeah, I told her you saw Fish. I'm like, what else did you say? He's like, I told her you saw him like 3 times. I was like, babe,
you have
to email that teacher right now. I'm like, I'm not a Fish snob, but I've seen them more than 3 times.
Right.
And she emailed the teacher. She's like, my husband just wants to let you know that he's seen Fish a lot more than 3 times. And she's like, oh my God, that just made my whole night. Like
the stats are actually impressive.
Yeah.
That's so
I go out to Dick's every year because we have
nice.
buddies that live out there, and I brought her back a magnet that's on her fridge or on her cabinet in the class. But I was like, dude,
that's such a classic.
Son, you can't tell people I've only seen them 3 times. Come on, I'm not.
Right, it's just not.
I've put in the work.
Right,
like,
it makes you look like a nickel bagger. Like you
our first show
that.
was 1994.
Yep.
Nice.
At USA Arena.
USA Arena, baby.
Oh yeah.
Britton, what's your musical flavor?
I guess early on I could think like Croce and
Jim Croce.
James Taylor. And
let me tell you,
that was on around the house. Kind of stuff.
I tend to do this, but while I'm stroking you, your songwriting ability. Do you write the lyrics? Or,
I do.
Yeah, I mean, dynamite songwriting.
Thank you.
Like,
Do you write the lyrics and the music, or does everybody contribute kind of with everything? Are you it's all you?
It's all me. The core of it, but
with
like,
input, everybody.
Yeah, Britton
puts
does
in
all the
their
chord
own.
changes and all the lyrics.
Yeah, so I write the arrangements and everything, but then beyond that, everybody
brings their
brings
flavor.
their thing. Yeah, which is what I want. I want them to color it how they want to color it, and that's what makes it. It's not. We're very much a democracy, and we serve the music. We serve the song case by case. It's not ego. It's not I want a solo or whatever. If it needs a solo, play a solo. If it doesn't, so we're serving we're doing it justice, and we're serving the art and not the other way around. I think we owe it everything. It doesn't really owe us much. So
Yeah, well, you can feel it.
Yeah, you got a unique kind of wail to your vocals.
Thank you.
That reminds me of Mike Labicki from Rusted Root.
Oh,
right
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
right.
kind of have the same I don't even know what
It's
it's I don't know
vibrato.
what it's
Vibrato,
called.
yeah.
It's vibrato.
Is that what it's
is.
called?
Yeah,
and
it's-
I love it. It's
And
great.
not everybody has vibrato.
No.
And so if you have it, you utilize it.
Yeah,
And
it's
you've
great.
got it in spades. You've got a unique vibrato vibe. It's great. And the Miss Jen,
Yeah, she can lock in with the
it's
vibrato.
perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I love how you call everyone that comes in here myth.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm from a
Chivalrous.
different.
Miss John.
Nah, he doesn't.
No,
it's
no,
just
I
it's
don't-
his lingo.
Yeah, and people who know me know that it's not as. I mean, like I'm trying to be. Anyway, yes. Anyway, it works perfectly.
Yeah, it does.
With
It
your
really does.
like
No
your
doubt.
growl or your howl.
Yeah.
something solely Hal with her vocals make it.
Yeah, and we've again we've been doing it a long time, but that was there pretty early. We didn't, we're not overthinking anything, which I think is important. I don't think about how it comes out.
Sure.
Really,
You're the vessel.
it happens, right? Exactly. I get a lot of questions on like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? I'm like, the more I think, the worse it is.
Right. I'm the same way.
And so yeah, and Jenny, there's this natural cohesion there. And Kendall, she wasn't with us tonight. She recently had a baby, but on all our studio stuff, there's 3-part harmonies, and there's a natural thing there as well where we all it just works without much effort.
Oh wait,
she
you
adds
have
the
another
fiddle.
band?
She
Or
plays-
you have
no,
another
she
member?
plays the fiddle.
I'm another member. Yeah, she had a baby, so she's out.
Yeah.
But
Right, the
but yeah.
fiddle. I didn't dawn on
And
me.
sometimes, I mean,
We miss it.
there's
We love it.
sometimes there's a harmonica. Sometimes.
I play harmonica sometimes too. It's been a minute, but yes. So yeah, we've got another member, but the harmonies, the 3-part harmonies, just pretty natural and
Yeah, the 3 times I've seen you 3 times so far, and Kendall's been there each time.
nice.
They've been cool shit. Like we saw you. So I discovered you on WTMD.
Yeah.
With Enchanted, which is like I told you,
That's your
it's,
song,
It's not just one of my favorite songs by a local band. It's one of my favorite songs. Period.
It's songwriting, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. It's the songwriting, dude. It's good shit.
But then we saw you at the first Thursday,
Yes,
like
that
2
was
years ago in June or a year and a half ago, and then we saw you at Hunfest,
Yeah, Hun was
and then we went to the B&O WTMD party because EJ had to like bust a move down to play with Letitia Van Zandt
Oh, that
on
was
the
right
train.
after
That's
Hun.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
we saw Alcohol's on the train.
Oh, yeah,
car.
right, with Justin.
And then we saw you at Manor Mill, which was a really
Yeah.
cool.
I love
That was a
place.
cool, like intimate, laid back show that night.
Where's
Loft.
Manor Mill?
It's in Moncton.
Moncton, yeah.
That's like my neck of the woods. That's like
Yeah.
it's our home venue.
It's
really.
like a barn.
Yeah, I feel
It's
like I've
a
heard of
house,
it.
I guess. But they played on the second floor, which is like it was like a smaller
It's a
little
loft.
event. But
It's a
now
loft,
is that
yeah.
where the new venue that you just played is?
So we
or
just
is that
did a
different?
satellite venue. It's like 7 minutes from there. It's called Oldfield School.
It's
It's an
bigger.
old school. It's bigger. It's almost like 200 heads.
Right.
Seats. It's theater. It's an old theater.
Yeah.
In an old school. And yeah, we opened for Pressing Strings.
Yeah.
It was like a beta test. Can this be done? How can it was a proof of concept show.
How to go?
Sold it out. Packed it out. I think
Exactly.
we were don't tell no fire marshal, but we were like over for sure.
Right, you were over capacity.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it was great, and it couldn't have gone better. There's little lessons learned for how to make it better and all, but it couldn't have gone better.
Yeah,
It was
that
raining.
was
It
a
rained
good
all of a
show,
sudden, which was like tough in the parking and for all the logistics and kind of headaches to get it off the ground. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's
Couldn't ask
nice.
for
We've
more.
had JK in here with alcohols. We have
Oh, yeah.
Pressing Strings will be coming through. Jordan
right
and Nick, and those guys are great.
They
Now,
are
the
very
cat that was on the Git fiddle over here to the left, what was
Yeah.
his name?
Lucas Chauhani.
Now, how did he get involved in the band? Was he there when, so you were with Miss Jen originally, you met this cat in the church?
It was Rusty
They were
South.
talking about that.
It was
Okay,
Rusty
that's
South.
the guy from,
That's the
guy from.
That's
Rusty.
the guy.
That's
Well, he
the
just
guy.
seems, is he younger than you guys, or is he just?
He's a couple years younger than me.
Yeah. You look great, baby. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but I'm just saying. I
John-
thought he was younger.
John's aging well over here, but yeah,
I don't know.
He's,
I don't know
he's a
how much.
few
I
years
can't
younger.
tell how old anybody is.
Yeah. What do we?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
I'm
Well
gonna be,
done.
dude. I'm
What do you say?
gonna be 50 next year.
Oh wow, dude,
That's a big one.
Very impressive.
Now, is that a big
Looking
one?
good,
Is
man.
that a big one, John? Or
Well, I'm 5 years away from the big one, so
Okay.
Okay.
so
All right,
that'll
all right.
give you a range.
I'm
You're in
38.
there.
okay.
I'm 38.
Nice.
All right. Well, so I'm 48. Wheel, whose house this is, he's old. He's the
He's
oldest.
54.
He's 50.
I don't know. Maybe 53.
Everybody's looking good.
Yeah, baby. He
we
looks
do.
great.
We talked about that with Tyler. Like, I think everybody looks better the older they get these days, and I attribute it to hairstyles.
It's probably true.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably evolution too.
Evolution
I mean,
too, which
right.
hopefully means we're probably gonna just average into our 90s.
It's
and 100s
possible,
at this
baby.
point.
We might lead that charge.
We don't know yet, though. We don't know.
Sure. Now,
It's
you guys
good.
got music on Spotify.
Yeah, we just released a new
And did
single.
I hear you say that you're going into the studio soon?
Yeah, we're going in the studio in the middle of November. We're going to cut 3 more. We got 2 more in the can right now. Just got a mix yesterday for Learning to Crawl.
Nice.
But yeah, we're gonna be dropping. We didn't really promo or do anything for this latest drop for Sold Separately, and that's been out a little over a week now.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. That's I just saw that yesterday actually when I was.
But yeah, we're gonna be trying to get them out there pretty aggressively, and just dropping them. Like there's no benefit to holding on to them, you know. So
Right. It seems like the market nowadays wants good songs, not necessarily good albums. I mean, I think there's a market for albums. People who love albums, but
yeah.
in order to get going.
Well, that's the model, right? It's like the current model is it used to be an album a year,
right.
and now it's a single a month. You know, it's every 4 weeks, and which sounds crazy. It is crazy. But, you know, our first album we released a couple years ago, it was 12 songs. So you divide that by a
song a month.
a song a month. So it kind of equates, but it's a hardy pace. The good thing on our side is like we have songs, we have material. It's a time and a budget thing. Like we're all self-funded, and so it's just earning the money to get into the studio to cut them and release them. So. We're not struggling with material. You know, the Beatles had 3 albums in the can before they released 1.
Right.
So I'm always writing. I got a new song I'm excited about that I wrote the other night. But it's good. Like the flow's good. I think the sobriety's really helped, and you know, I just feel like my muscles are working well, and we've got a process, and I got a method for how things come and get documented. But yeah, back in the studio and trying to fit that model of you know, a single here every 4 to 8 weeks if possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good stuff though. Like at least you know, if you struggle with writer's block like a lot of people do, that's a serious problem.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you need material. But if
Right.
you already have a nice plethora that you can
It's
at least,
nice.
you know,
It's a stock. It's
Right.
nice, and we're never. You know, it's also very nice to build a set list and not be just stuck to, you know, however many songs. Like we can take things out and add things in. It's a matter of being comfortable and kind of you know, loose on those songs, and or not loose but tight, I guess. But it's a matter of knowing the material, but it's there, and we can you know, feather things in and feather things out. But yes, the content is there, which is very nice. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I love it, man.
So, how long have you been playing? How long have you been playing the guitar and the bass?
Middle school.
Yeah. So, with that being said, like, who were some of your influences that made you really get into music, bass in particular?
Right,
Did you start with the bass?
I started upright in 5th grade, actually with cello, and then they moved me to the upright.
Yeah.
Did you get emotional when you came in here and saw the upright bass in the corner?
That is nice. Yeah,
You probably
it's a
shuddered.
nice carved one.
Having carried around.
Carved German up there. I saw indeed.
Nice.
But then I also had the chance to play with the Baltimore Mandolin Orchestra
Yes.
for 2 years, where I played the mando cello, which is an
Nice.
instrument that's strung like the same strings as a cello, but it obviously doubles and it's like a giant mando.
Nice.
And so that was cool to have to play with them for 2 years. And I kind of came out of a corporate cocoon and didn't play music for a while. Then got into the mandolin orchestra, kind of built up my chops, and then started playing out again.
Mm-hmm. We had a small to more connection through the mandolin orchestra too.
That's right.
Jenny's like childhood friend Susie and her husband Dan played in the mandolin orchestra like years and years before I'd ever met John. But
yeah, they're always rolling like 30 mandos, mandolas, and mando cellos, and they even have mando basses too. So
That's wild.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. I bet you your chops get built up in a situation like that. Probably.
yeah, well, it's kind of a different beast because you're reading music, and so it's kind of like I kind of think it's like a Sudoku where you're just kind of doing like a mental thing. But then when I play with these guys, you know, it's the chords, and it's more of a jazz thing where you outline the chords with the bass line. You know, because I was also in jazz band all throughout high school and everything.
Nice.
So, big Jocko fan and all those fusion jazz bass players.
Right, which is why you love Mike.
No doubt. Yeah, Gordon's the man, absolutely. And I love his new tone with the new Sarek basses.
Right.
And respect to Sarek. I know that they got some damage from Hurricane Helene, so we're thinking about the Sarek bass maker down there. But yeah, Mike sounds so good on that cool new Sarek he has with those extra frets at the bottom that he can put in with a magnet so he can go super high on foam.
I know this guy. He's so sick.
So
dude.
weird. Wow.
So, Britton, as you were a youth, what did songwriting come first, or did the instrument come first?
I think it was just interesting guitar. Excuse me. In middle school I went to an art school in middle school, which I was very lucky to do. It was Middle School of the Arts, and it changed my life. I think very put me on this path of like what's possible. And you had to audition to get into the school.
Nice.
And there were different majors. There was vocals or band or communications or dance or theater, and I got in for vocals and communications, and but everybody had to do everything else, right? Like I had to take dance classes, and I had to take theater, and I had to take we all did everything. But
So are you a dancer?
Oh yeah, buddy.
Oh shit!
not that
Break down.
Not that plie kind of stuff, but we did ballet and we did
Right.
a rhythmic and just different types of things. But it exposed me to creativity and what's possible, and opened my mind at a pretty early age. But there was an elective class, and it was like classical guitar, and so my first guitar was like this nylon string guitar, and it was all finger picking and flamenco stuff, and like nothing I was particularly great at. And I don't read music. I'm just not there on that. Like I use chords and scales and everything, and I know shapes and I can play. I get by. I think my gift really is the vocals. I'd set that kind of base of the rhythm and I'm not fooling anybody with my guitar playing, but I think it's more of the emotion, the feel, and that's I believe in what I do, and that's there's a confidence in that that I think stands on its own versus the maybe the technical ability. I'm not really thinking too hard about it, but yeah, it was a nylon guitar, but that didn't really jive with what I was hearing. It was early 2000s, and I'm or no, was it early 2000s? It was 90s. It was in the 1900s.
Well, I remember.
Yeah, it was back in the 1900s, and so but yeah, I'm listening to like steel string, alternative radio, and I was like, well, I'm not good, I can't. But it was this nylon thing, and it wasn't. Didn't equate, and then and I couldn't play. I was like just a middle school kid trying to figure it out. But I liked it. I knew girls liked it, and I liked music. I just had that natural thing, and I had rhythm, and I could move and dance. And then I got an acoustic guitar in like my freshman year of high school, and that started it,
and with acoustic guitar goes songwriting sometimes. Maybe.
Yeah, and after that I kind of got into writing. In college it started more and more. I gigged all through college. I was going to open mics because I was like, I knew I had something I wanted to share, but I had like terrible stage fright. It was terrible.
Huh.
And it was like an angel and a devil on my shoulders, like, you're going to this open mic, and I'm like, I don't want to go. And it's like, you're going, and because I knew I sounded decent in the living room or whatever when I was by myself. So I like started going to this open mic, and then I was at a place that I played like all through college, and some friends were playing. It was like 2 a.m, and I'm like strumming their guitar and singing a little bit, and the owner's like, I didn't know you could play. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd never played a gig. And he's like, you want to play Thursday? And I'm like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And he's like, you can play, like, whatever it was, like 9 to midnight or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure.
You just kept saying, oh yeah.
And I was like, oh God, what did I do? And I went and I had like a week to basically learn enough. And I had enough for, I played it twice. Basically, I did like an hour and change. And then I came and just did it again. Cause I'm like, that's all I got.
Right.
Trial by fire,
but
man.
that started it.
Way,
yeah. And then I was just like, after that, I started booking and playing more gigs, and the playing's it's always evolved, which is good. It's never, I don't feel like I've stagnated, and we're still on that trajectory. I think if it ever feels like it's not progressing, there's a problem. But it's always evolved, whether it's the playing or the singing or the writing or whatever it is. But yeah, I started writing in college. And it's just gotten better and better. It really has. After sobriety, it's gotten better and better. And
always keep that. Always keep that in your purview. The things got better after sobriety because it's easy to forget. I always say to myself, don't forget. Like that's why you bring it up.
It's always getting better, which is awesome. Yeah, it's
important.
John Hartford song. What is it? Just when you think you can't get no better than it does, it does. It has. So yeah. It's just,
well, that's good. Yeah. It's positive stuff. Yeah.
So I wanted to circle back to Enchanted again because so he was 10 at the time. Lincoln,
Enchanted, the song
Enchanted. Yeah, Lincoln at the time was 10 when we first heard it, and he really liked it, but he had a great question. So we can kind of go around and answer this question and see your thoughts on when you wrote it. What is considered a romantic food?
I don't know, like pasta, sexy.
Right. He asked us that. He's like, so what? He's like, what are romantic foods?
And you said oysters.
No, I said steak and lobster.
There you go.
Seafood, pasta,
chocolate covered strawberries,
mango, or something.
Yeah.
You're right. Anything fruit, I feel. Fruit
Peaches,
with whipped cream.
Peaches and cream.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. There's all sorts of...
that Lincoln,
it depends
that answers
on...
his question.
Yeah, that's
it's a great lyric.
I think Indian food can be sexy, like Italian food.
I with the right company...
It's easier to come up with what isn't a sexy food.
That's true.
I'd say like chili.
Yeah.
Manwich.
Well, like a
sloppy Joe. Sloppy
liverwurst.
Sloppy.
Right. Bratwurst.
Lunch lady food.
Lady food. Fiestada is definitely a sexy food.
Dude,
Fiestada.
From the school lunch.
From our high school cafeteria.
I made one last night. It was almost. It was almost legit Fiestada.
You guys go back to high school?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We've been friends since 92. We've been through a lot together.
Yeah, we've been through a lot together.
Beautiful.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah. And there's a whole crew. Yeah, there's one of us up there on the stick.
There's Kenny up there.
Right, Grabowski I mentioned. But we have a tight-knit group of friends that have stayed friends for 30-some years.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It really takes a village, and you got to find your people, and that's part of what we're doing.
And even like with you, a support system's important, and we've only had that.
Yeah.
We've had several friends that have made that change in their lives, and we all support it easily.
Yep.
It's all for whatever you need.
It's a true friend, right? Yeah. Like there's some people that change, and other people don't want. They want to keep that version of that person alive.
100%.
They can't accept it. So yeah.
Right.
And then you have to start asking yourself hard questions like, are they real friends? If that's what
are they a real friend or are they a drinking buddy?
Well, and we're the epitome of it. How many years has it been for you?
98, since 98, so whatever that is.
Right on.
I haven't had a drink since 98. Yeah. And every one of my friends were liquored up lunatics, and every one of them had my back because they all knew, and they were like, we got to help,
Yep.
So, but it's been great shit.
Yeah.
So, Well, no, go ahead.
Your whole crew moved to Florida too, right? Isn't that
Me and Brian moved to Florida
Okay.
Really?
together.
But-
yeah, we went
Where
to
at?
Full Sail in Orlando.
Were you
Oh,
part of
In
production
98
school?
to 2000. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I went for animation. He went for film production.
Nice.
Now, to be clear, the Cypress
friend-
crew, most
yeah.
of our boys came down
Yeah,
to
like,
see
well,
Cypress
Kenny-
and
Oh, right
stuff
on.
like that.
The guy behind me right here, he went to Full Sail, but after I moved back to Maryland. Brian, you were still there when
I
he
was
went.
still there in a Grateful Dead cover band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Orlando.
you know who's a
But
Full
then
Sail
we made-
graduate is Billy Strings sound guy.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's
yeah,
so fun.
Yeah, so that's it. I
We,
know he always
um,
gets shout outs.
We made a lot of friends that we kind of stay in contact with in Florida. We had a good time in Florida. I did a lot of acid.
Yeah.
Florida.
Wait a second. You did a lot of acid in Baltimore before we went to
Yeah,
Florida.
we had Florida
Yeah.
was fun. It was a
Yeah.
cool school, but the school when we went was kind of new and
Yeah.
weird. I mean, the iPhones didn't even exist, and I was learning computer animation.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Literally, the last class, we were like the last to learn film.
Yeah.
Like they were all like
You guys were
next
cutting?
year. Yeah, they were like, we were
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
cutting
yeah.
films
Yeah,
and
100%.
exposing film
It
and
was
stuff.
cool.
That's
It was
And
cool.
the very next year, they were going to start incorporating
Avid or something.
digital
Like
film.
it's
Yeah.
digital. You're like, did you what?
Well, we had
that
Avid.
was,
we had
it was
Avid.
in Winter
Okay.
Park,
Yeah.
Florida. But the school's like taking over the town of Winter Park now.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
they have a whole concert venue now
Yep.
where that's where the students can do live,
Sweet.
full live production.
And I want to say WWE films there.
Yeah,
like
they
Monday
have a lot
Night
of cool
Raw
stuff,
or
yeah.
something, and it's like the students help do it. Or
But
maybe they
technically, we
did.
could go back there. I mean, they said
We're
like you
alumnus.
could go back and take classes for life,
Oh,
but
wow.
unless they change the name of the program,
Right,
which
right.
they do.
Which they will, because they're corporate pigs.
No, it was a great
Oh, shit. I
experience.
thought you
It
were just
was
going to land
fun.
a sponsorship, but not anymore.
Well, hey,
No,
we
they're
love
great.
them. Actually,
Full
we do
Sail's-
love
Full
them.
Sail's great.
You know-
it was good.
These corporations. Just kidding. So while we're on the film subject,
Yeah.
unless do you have any other music?
No. That was good.
So
good segue.
My what I insist on doing is film talk with most of our guests. So I'm going to put it to you, John, first. If you can, give me the top 3 films.
Well, first, are you film fans?
Are you film
like
guys?
movies? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm a big documentary guy.
Anything.
Yeah,
It can be
yeah,
anything.
like I don't know if you guys know
Documentaries or
Errol
films?
Morris.
Errol Morris,
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
most
yeah.
famous documentarians of all
Yeah,
time.
he's one of my favorites. So I went to school, I think at college, and majored in documentary production.
Good for you.
And then I got a job right out of school at the Discovery Channel at the corporate headquarters down
my
in,
gosh.
Yeah.
in Bethesda before they moved to Silver Spring.
Right.
And I was there for a few years, living the DC life and working at Discovery Channel. But what a lot of people don't know about Discovery Channel, at least back then, is like it was just they just have contracts with all these different production companies that are actually out in the field with the lemurs and whatnot, And Discovery Channel is just kind of doing the deals, So I didn't get to do anything really cool or anything like that. But and then I kind of get out of that world. But always big Earl Morris fan though, for sure. Like Thin Blue Line. I actually acquitted somebody out who was like on death row. So it's a serious documentary.
Incredible historical documentary, Thin Blue Line, Errol Morris. And actually, his son is Hamilton Morris. Do you know that?
Oh no,
Do you know
is
who
that
Hamilton Morris
the
is?
psychedelic guy?
Hamilton's
Oh, yeah.
Pharmacopoeia.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so he's the guy. He's a
Wow.
serious chemist. He's a
Yeah,
serious,
know.
advocate for good, clean drug regulation, looking into it and stuff like that. But that's Hamilton. Errol
offense.
Morris's son
I
is
never knew
Hamilton
that.
Morris. Yeah,
Factoid.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as a bad trip.
yeah, right. Productive. So give me something else.
Oh, then I guess Empire Strikes Back is probably
Good
my
for
favorite.
you.
Yeah, that's
Wonderful.
Just the stylization, all
Wonderful.
the style in that like this kind of set a tone for sure.
Empire was always my favorite
Me
until
too.
Rogue One came out, and then it just fucked up my whole brain.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that
But those
one,
two are my top. as
I
far as
love
Star
Empire,
Wars.
man.
Yeah,
But Empire's still the best.
I mean, for a part 2 of a series like that and Godfather 2,
Right.
come out swinging, baby.
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
And
You
then
got another one?
Then I guess Lebowski was probably number 3.
nice.
Yeah, so that's a classic. I saw
that
in the
was my
theater.
one.
Proud of
Oh,
to
yeah?
see that in the theater. Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna have to have a sheet of like the heavy hitters or because Lebowski seems to be
That was gonna be my
That
first.
and
That's
Godfather.
one of my top. Yeah,
It is.
It was Tyler's number
Oh
one.
yeah,
yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. All right. So that's
what
good.
was
man.
the first
Good
movie
stuff.
you saw in the theaters? Do y'all remember that? Like as a kid?
Yes, the first movie I saw in the theater was Jaws 3 in 3D.
Oh,
but
Jesus.
I don't really remember
3D,
it, but
yeah.
the first movie I really remember seeing in the theater was Predator, coincidentally.
Oh, right.
Which is hilarious because you saw a shitload of movies before Predator.
Right.
You're just brain dead or whatever in those years.
Maybe.
Because Predator was 87.
I know.
I mean,
and
you
Jaws
saw
3 was 85 or 83. 83,
83,
yeah.
right. The first movie I remember seeing was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
And it blew my face off. I was like, holy shit. What, you know.
Do you remember the first movie you saw?
E.T..
E.T.?
Oh,
What
wow.
about you?
I saw
was,
E.T. that year, same year as Raiders. I saw E.T. right after Raiders or right around Raiders.
Damn, you know what? That could very well be my first
This is
theater
what I'm saying.
experience.
You're just not
I might have to
thinking.
ask my mother about that. I might be making stuff up.
Yeah, it was setting records back then.
Yeah, you just aren't thinking, baby.
Right.
You saw a shitload of movies.
I do
before
remember
Predator.
So what was your
Mine
first?
was Land Before Time.
Oh, nice.
And I cried when the lights went off.
that's
I was
a
like,
really-
what's
that's
happening?
That's
a tragic-
Or
that's-
I mean, of the dinosaur, the Land
yeah,
Before
yeah.
Time.
That's one of
Wow,
the
that
saddest
devastated
movies
me. Yeah, I only
ever
saw
made.
that
Yeah.
once.
Land Before Time, that was
That was 88.
Right.
foundational.
I mean, it's a children's movie. You see it as a
Yeah.
child, and you're traumatized.
Right.
I mean, and it was like, I love dinosaurs. Yeah, and it was like, wait, what? Like,
Wait,
But
Ducky.
the acting was incredible. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
that shit was heavy. I
It was-
remember.
it was-
asteroid hits.
the like falling leaf scene with the water and the giraffe.
Beautiful. Yeah,
It's
it's
in there.
beautiful.
It's in there.
Yeah, well, that's a heavy pull. All right, good stuff.
Yeah. What else? Lebowski's like
That's
up
your
there.
top.
So I thought about. I was thinking about what we grab when the power goes out, like and to like I call it gas powered TV because we'll whip out the generator and fire it up and then run an extension cord and we got an old DVD player and then we grab DVDs and like what's the kind of go to, but it's usually Lebowski. The Ocean's movies.
Any one of them.
Any
right?
one of them's
They're
fine.
just fun. Yeah.
Harry Potter movies and Wayne's World.
Oh,
nice.
good
That's
for
a
you!
good
I
one.
just watched Wayne's World
Yeah,
for the first time in a long time, a while ago. Unbelievable!
Excellent party time.
That's another good sequel.
It is Wayne's World 1, Wayne's World 2,
with
Sleeper.
Wayne Stock
Yeah.
from Wayne's World 2. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wayne
I
Stock
think I
was
might
great.
like 2
Dude,
Yeah.
better. I don't
2
know.
It's
was
possible.
funnier. We saw that with Ryan
Yeah,
Grabowski
yeah.
and
It
Paul.
was funnier.
And it was funnier.
Yeah, it
I mean, now I will say,
When,
One's-
the- when,
one's
they're- when
classic.
Farley's running across the stage.
right, and they're throwing stuff at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Well, you know, those movies, that's one of those ones that, like, I just watched Wayne's World 1 again for the first time a little bit ago, and that baby is dated. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I love it, and it doesn't bother me, but, like, you can see it is 1990.
Oh,
like,
right.
there's no
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mistaking the
No.
era.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Is
know
that,
what I mean?
Wayne's World 1 is with 90.
Yeah, 1990.
So,
I was right in high school.
little fun fact: Brian reached out to James Hong.
Oh, shit.
About coming on this show.
Wow.
Do you know who we're talking about? This is Chinese actor. Maybe
He's in Wayne's
Korean.
World. He
I don't
was
want to be
Tia
a
Carrere.
dick.
He was Tia Carrere's father
Right.
in Wayne's World.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And he's in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah,
he's in
yeah, I know.
Seinfeld.
He was in
episode.
Blade Runner.
He was
Yeah.
in Blade Runner.
Yeah,
like-
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's 95 years old now.
He's
I think
very old.
He responded.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
Nice.
awesome. I was like, I don't even know. Why did I reach out
I
to him?
do not
I
know.
get these impulses. Listen, I get these impulses
Follow
and
your
I go
heart,
with
right.
them and they
Follow
pay
your
off.
heart. Yeah, right.
So that was Cassandra's dad, right?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yes.
And he was like, I would love to come on, but I'm
busy.
I'm
He's still
busy.
doing movies.
I-
and
you're
stuff,
not
yeah.
busy.
I'm
No,
too
he was
busy.
just in that movie with
Really?
the
When he answered, we
Ming
knew.
Na Wen. He was just in a movie with her.
Oh, the Everything All at Once.
yes, he's
Everything
in that movie.
Everywhere All at
He
Once.
still
looks
does
good
some.
for
Yes, he's like
95,
95 years
But
old.
he was
yeah.
like, have fun in
He's
the
like, have
Sanity
fun. Good luck
Lounge,"
with
or-
the Sanity Lounge.
Yeah.
Like, we're using that as like
Right.
a review.
We'll put it up as a blurb. James
How'd
Wan.
you get his
I
number?
messaged him on. No, this is what I do. This has worked for me a few times here. On Instagram or Facebook, I will just hit up somebody with a well-versed paragraph.
Yeah.
Example: a guy wrote a book in 2018 called The Immortality Key. And it's about the history of ancient Greece and Ulysses and all these rituals and stuff like that. Anyway, very big book. He was on Joe Rogan. He was on all these other shows, huge. I'm like on Instagram and I'm looking into the history of ancient drumming. And I know it's going to line up with some of the stuff that this cat was talking about. So I make this paragraph, very, Lep style, whatever. And I'm like, look, I'm in Baltimore. I know this guy lives in Pittsburgh, which isn't that far. And I'm like, this is what I'm looking into. Does this sound interesting to you? And he was like, it sounds like a most worthy endeavor.
Nice.
Any way I can help, let me know. He sent me PDFs of ancient shamans from the research he did at the Vatican.
Nice dude.
For his book.
It's a lot of research about like ancient use of psychedelics and stuff.
yeah.
But
Right.
he's completely like unbiased because he's never taken a psychedelic. So
He was a
just
man of
did
the
all
cloth.
this research.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
he's a man of the cloth that just
Yeah.
is looking into spirituality
Yeah.
in general, and he knows the history of the Christian church, and he knows when it got organized, and he knows that there was a 300-year span where it was disorganized, and in that time, he posits that people that were worshiping Christian rituals illegally at the time were probably being led by Maenad women of Ulysses from ancient Greece, because they did similar rituals. The body and blood of Dionysus, the body and blood of Christ. We don't want to get into too much heaviness but it's interesting stuff.
It's a good book. It's called The Immortality Key. It's an interesting book.
And my whole point is drums have been there since the beginning. Drums are the oldest instrument, and they've been there since the beginning. And drums have watched all this history play out, and I love that. Go ahead, bud.
The oldest instrument's the voice.
Actually, you're right. Absolutely.
It was the first.
I think the oldest company is Zildjian, right?
Now, I will tell you this,
Really?
though, Britton. That's the oldest cymbal company. I believe you're right, yeah. I will tell you this, though. I've had this argument before about the oldest voice being the voice, because your heart has to beat.
It's true.
And so the beat of
The
your
rhythm
heart
tempo.
is...
like beats per minute, right? Like the reason we all respond to this music and feel it a certain way is it's and sometimes you're just like, I can't help but move.
Yes.
Right. It's the gait, right? It's like it's the tempo in which you used to walk and we still walk, but it was pivotal more for like, all right, this is upbeat. This is I'm on a hunt, or I'm running after prey, or whatever.
Right.
But that's some of why it resonates. But it also the frequencies are pivotal as well.
Definitely.
And people's DNA responds differently to frequencies, and people's I feel this one a certain way or whatever. You literally being your molecules, your DNA is vibrating and responding to certain frequencies and keys. That might not resonate with others, but that's the magic, I think.
Oh man, it's unbelievable.
And how those tempos kind of cook into your your
DNA.
Your DNA.
Yeah. I love it, dude. That's such good shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Whiskey Feathers, this was fucking incredible.
Yeah, you guys are
And
Thanks
I
for having
mean,
us.
I love you guys. We're gonna promote
Likewise.
the hell out of you. You
Thank you.
guys tell people about the show.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And right now, tell people where the best places are to find you. Find your schedule.
Yeah. So we're at whiskeyfeathers.com. We're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok,
Spotify,
Threads, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, anywhere you listen to music. We're on 60 some platforms around the world.
Yep.
What else? Check
You're
us
on
out.
whatshappeningbaltimore.com.
We're on
Yes.
whatshappeningbaltimore.com.
We got a show coming up on December 5th.
Yeah,
because this
December
episode
5th.
will be out before that, November 30th.
We're going to be at Elkton Music Hall. We're opening for Sam Morrow, who's we're really excited to play with him. He's got like some. It sounds vintage, but it's new. It's kind of an Almond Brothers kind of roots rock, southern rock. Not roots rock, southern rock kind of thing, maybe, but in his own way.
Vintage. I like that.
Vintage,
Yeah.
yeah.
I live over in Middle River. I might have to try.
Yeah,
to get up
come on
there.
out. It's a
I don't know
Thursday.
what we're doing on December 5th.
December 5th. We got a couple shows we're working on, and we'll be dropping those soon. But back in the studio. We got that show coming up December 5th, and check us out. We're trying to be little bit everywhere all at once. A little
Yeah.
bit, so.
Nice. Callback to the James Wan, baby. Yeah, like it's in.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, well, look, this was a lot of fun, man. And wait till
Thank
you
you.
guys see it. You're
Yeah.
going to be happy.
Yeah, thanks for the chance to play out there, man.
Yeah,
That was so
I
so much
really
fun.
appreciate
It
it.
sounded
It's
great,
great,
and I'm sure it's going to turn out great. So
Beautiful.
appreciate the
Awesome.
chance.
Beautiful
All
spot.
right, stay sane, Baltimore.
Thank you.
Yep.
We're the Whiskey Feathers from Baltimore, Maryland. This one's called Learning to Grow. My grasp on the bottle was much too strong. Sick and wounded, I couldn't drag myself along. We're blind and reeling, defenseless against more. So I lined up my demons and I went to war. They trained to fight my teeth, and I struggled in vain. The bottle beat me down to my knees. Well, I chugged the last of my goodness and chased away my last name. But it starts with a whisper, it's learning to grow. And pretty soon that whisper is standing up tall. No longer a drinker, I surrendered it all. But it starts with a whisper, but now I'm standing up. And tall. Tall, my outlook on living, I had it all wrong. Well, I drowned my sorrows and dragged them along. Well, blind and reeling, I stumbled for the door, reaching for the handle, but I always found the floor. They trained to fight my teeth, and I struggled in vain. The bottle beat me down to my knees. Well, I chugged the last of my goodness and chased away my last name. But it starts with a whisper. right, this one is called So Sue Me, and we think you can relate. Well, so sue me, I'm a human, and I always want more. You name it, I want it, until I'm lying on the floor. Well, so sue me, I'm a human, and I'm addicted to more. And for your love, I'm jonesing. From the glass, let it pour. It's all a part of my condition that I'm looking to cure. Learning to live with myself. These thoughts I explore, and I'm trusting my soul. And the person I'm becoming is all a part of my condition, and I'm no longer running. But I'm no longer running. Well, so sue me, I'm a human, and I'm resistant to change. Yes, I'm stuck in my ways now, and I like things the same. Well, yes, I love my illusions, but they all bring me pain. Well, so sue me, I'm a human, and I wanna do it all again. It's all a part of my condition that I'm looking to cure. Learning to live with myself. These thoughts I explore, and I'm trusting my soul. And the person I'm becoming is all a part of my condition, and I'm no longer running. And I'm no longer running. Well, so sue me, I'm a monkey with a smart enough brain to think of these concepts, but I'm a junkie all the same. Yes, I get off on these words here like a drug in a pipe, singing them out loud gets me higher than a that I'm looking to cure. Learning to live with myself. These thoughts I explore, and I'm trusting my soul. And the person I'm becoming is all a part of my condition, and I'm no longer running. And I'm no longer running. This is called Sold Separately, this next song here. If you haven't heard it, it's our latest and newest single. We hope you check that out wherever you listen to music. It goes like this. Well, it's the trends that bend, and the sheep will always go. No, but they will never know what it's like for them to think on their own. No, 'cause they weren't ever shown. Well, it's a fight uphill, and it will always be. The dream's free, but the hustle's sold separately. Well, it's a fight uphill, and it will always be. The dream's free, but the hustle's sold separately. Well, it's the ties and vines that bend them to their roots. The status quo that never sets them loose. And you miss the chances that you never take. The same old is the happiness you fake. But it's a fight uphill, and it will always be. The dream is free, but the hustle's sold separately. Well, it's a fight uphill, and it will always be. The dream is free, but the hustle's sold separately. Yes, it is. Today and said I will create. 'Cause life is short and there's no time to waste. And for those of us who always wanted more, well, it's the struggle that opens up those doors. Well, it's a fight uphill, and it will always be. The dream is free, but the hustle's sold separately. Well, it's a fight uphill, and it will always be. The dream is free, but the hustle's sold separately. The dream is free, but the hustle's sold separately. The dream is free, but the hustle's sold separately. The dream is free, but the hustle's sold separately. All right, this one is it's called Enchanted. It's our first single. It started everything for us, and this place is pretty magical, I must say. It's got an enchanted vibe. Solve the riddle, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dream a little, wish on the big bright ones in the sky. So watch me run until I fall. Watch me crawl until I'm whole. And I'm worn out high, deep and down in my bones. This is called The Awakening. It's very new, and I think we produce this music, I do, to awaken something in myself, and in the hopes of doing that, and in my awakening, awaken you as well, in the listener. So I named this before I thought all of that up, but this is called The Awakening. The awakening, loosening ropes. Is this the awakening? Clearing his throat. Now, is this the awakening? Freeing him ghost. Is this the awakening? Warm winds blow. Now, is this the awakening? Diagnosed. Is this the awakening? We're sanding his toes, yeah, telling his jokes, shedding his coat. Screaming out loud, how about now, yeah, well how about now, how about now, how about now, yeah, well how about now, is this the awakening, UFOs, is this the awakening, superimposed, yeah, is this the awakening, a cosmic vow, is this the awakening, wherefore I'll die, yeah. Is this the awakening? A stick in the smoke. Is this the awakening? The engine smokes. Yeah. Is this the awakening? Toasting the oats. Is this the awakening? The spirit enfolds. Yeah. Telling his jokes, shedding his coat, screaming out loud. How about now? Yeah. Well, how about now? How about now? How about now, yeah? Well, how about now? Is this the awakening? A solar eclipse? Is this the awakening? Leaving my lips. Is this the awakening? The thoughts provoke. Is this the awakening? Let's take a soak now. Is this the awakening? The beginning of the end. Is this the awakening? Happening again. Is this the awakening? The yin and the yang. Is this the awakening? He's doing his thing, telling his jokes, shedding his clothes, screaming out loud. How about now? Yeah. Hoping it glows, hoping it shows.
Thanks for listening, Baltimore. You can find us at www.sanitylounge.com or on Instagram at sanity.lounge.
Keep listening and subscribe.
Stay sane, Baltimore.